Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, do we have to talk tonight? Let me tell you, do we have to talk tonight? But before we dive into the long list of topics we have for tonight, make sure to get your 5 stocks from Moomoo. All you have to do is deposit at least $100, and you could get up to 5 stocks, each of which could be valued up to $3,500. That's linked down below. Literally free money, guys. You get free money, and it helps out me and the channel, and I appreciate all of you guys that do use that link. So we have to break down Russia Ukraine in this video. The futures, we'll talk about some stocks. We'll break down crude oil, what I'm doing when it comes down to the energy stocks. So if you all find value, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And now let's get into it. So if you watched my video from earlier today, a couple of hours ago, that was about 7-8 hours prior to me filming this video, we saw and we talked about how the futures market was trending down, right? And I figured that was going to happen. We have a long weekend. The markets were closed today. The whole Russia-Ukraine crisis, the conflict going on. I figured there was bound to be a piece of negative news, right? We nailed that call out. Markets, like I said, the futures were trending down. And now, fast forward 7-8 hours later, the market futures are down way more. They're down way more. We have the S&P futures, guys, down 80 points, down 1.8%. We have the NASDAQ down 2.6%. The Dow futures are down 1.4%, and we have the Russell futures down over 2%, and the VIX at this point would probably be up over 10-15% with the amount of selling pressure we're getting and volatility. So at this point, the market futures are in free fall. And if we go back, I guess we weren't even at SPY to begin with. If we go to SPY, right, and we pull up this 4-hour chart, tomorrow, if the futures hold up like this, which most likely they will, they're going to be heavy in the red tomorrow morning unless something crazy happens, which could happen. I mean, who knows? But let's say futures are deep in the red. We are probably going to be breaking under or at least testing 425 on SPY. And if 425 breaks, I've said this before, I'll say it again, this has some room to go down. We're probably going to go down to about I don't want to say 400 to 405. I mean, we could get there. That would be the, I don't want to say worst case scenario, but that would be on the lower end of the spectrum here in the short term. But, I mean, for 415, that's a bit more reasonable. You know, that's another point of support that we could get to, again, if we collapse under 425. And if SPY, or rather Triple Q, let's pop that up. If Triple Q ends up breaking under, well, we're probably going to wake up with this under 335, 334, which is not good at all, considering that point was the low from about a month ago. So if we take the month ago's lows out, if we take those lows out, which by the looks of the futures, we're already doing that, Triple Q is going to be going down. If I pull up this yearly chart, the next main support under 335 is going to be about 315, guys. It's going to be about 320. So this thing has another couple points to go down, percentage points. We're talking 4 or 5% if it does break under 335. And that's what the technicals are telling me, at least. And of course, I'd love to know your thoughts down below in the comments. So let's talk a little bit about Russia, Ukraine. I have a bunch of notes here, and I know you guys are getting rammed with this information, this news, but it really is every hour something news coming out. So a decree was signed by Putin on Monday today, which recognized 2 pro-Moscow breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine, and they ordered Russian armed forces into these territories in what it called peacemaking function. So there's these 2 regions in Ukraine, guys, eastern Ukraine, that are super pro-Russia, and really what's going on is the troops are going in there, right? And the U.S. expects Russian troops could move as soon as tonight or tomorrow into Donbass, which I guess is a city out there, I'm not too sure, for their so-called peacekeeping mission, according to a senior U.S. official familiar with the latest intelligence. And the U.S. is still seeing preparations for potential broadening operation, including loading amphibious ships and loading equipment for airborne units, yada, yada, yada. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday, today, said Putin's recognition of separatist regions of eastern Ukraine is a breach of international law. We're seeing a lot of countries out there doing sanctions right now. Breach of international law, and it's a violation and a flagrant violation of the sovereignty and integrity of Ukraine. He said that during a news conference today. And we had NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg on Monday condemned Russia's recognition of the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republic, saying the move further undermines Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Pretty much the same thing that Boris Johnson said. And he also blamed Russia. This is Stoltenberg. Blamed Russia for continuing to conflict in eastern Ukraine by providing financial and military support to the separatists. So it looks like they've been helping them here behind the scenes, right? Adding that Moscow is also trying to stage a pretext to invade Ukraine once again. Stoltenberg said NATO supports the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders, and said the alliance urges Russia in the strongest possible terms to choose the path of diplomacy and to immediately reverse its massive military buildup in and around Ukraine and withdraw its forces from Ukraine in accordance with its international obligations and commitments. So this could be, it probably is. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and mind you, I'm not an expert on Russia, Ukraine, all this geopolitical stuff either. But this might be a breach of international law. It seems like it is. And this is what's going on right now. We're not going to dive into the nitty-gritty because, again, I'm not a professional, or not a professional, but I'm not an expert when it comes to this stuff. I haven't been studying it for years. But by the looks of it, this is just a move for Putin. I'm sure he's trying to outthink everybody. He's trying to do something. And who knows? It might escalate from here. They might invade deeper. I mean, this is going to it might get ugly, guys. And at this point in time, it's the top news story. And if it gets worse, you better believe the markets are going to get hit even worse. And we might be going down to those points that I mentioned earlier in this video before that mouthful of information that I just spewed out here, guys, on this mic, because we have a lot going on with Russia, Ukraine, and there's a lot of news. Literally every 30 minutes, something new comes out. Every hour, something new comes out. So watch out for those downside levels on SPY and Triple Q. Oil, guys, take a look at oil. You all know in war, during times of war, oil does well, and also in recessions it does well. Oil is it's crushing it. Oil's up 3% right now. The futures, we're seeing a clear-cut inverse head and shoulders on this 20-day chart. Look at this, guys. We have the left shoulder. We got the head. We got the right shoulder. Look at that. This is playing out. And I think now that it's at 93 a barrel above the moving averages, momentum's clearly kicking up. This is probably going back to 95 plus, and I think we're going 100 plus on oil, barrel on oil, whether that's in 2 weeks from now, this week, 3 months from now, I have no idea, but I think that is where we're going to be going this year. And let's see here. We gapped up big time. Yeah, look at that. Just today in general, with all this news around Russia, Ukraine, the two separatist regions, whatever, oil's been ripping. Oil started the day at about 90 a barrel. I think it was under 90 yesterday, and now it just hit 94 at the start of this future session at 6 p.m. just about 10 minutes ago. So crude oil is ripping, guys, and I'm long XLE. This is one that I've been holding for a while. It's a longer-term play for me. It's an energy ETF. This is most likely going to be going up tomorrow. It'll probably be up over $70. It pays a nice dividend too, so I'm very happy that I own XLE here to have my a piece of my pie, piece of my portfolio in oil. And I'm also looking at XLF right now. You guys know the banks. I think they're positioned nicely here in an interest rate hike environment. Banks have been flat recently, and XLF is a financial ETF. This one looks like it does want to sell off a bit more, and if it does come down to, let's say, 37.38 towards the bottom of this trend line, that could be a spot to strike, in my opinion, right around 37.38, and we might be able to catch that move back up to the 42, maybe even mid-40 level. So XLF, I'm watching very closely on this weakness, and I'm also looking at my favorite stock, Google, G-O-O-G. This is perfect, guys. They reported great earnings, reported the split coming in July, and the stock's been selling off. What a great recipe for me to pick up more shares. Now the stock's down 15% from all-time highs. And now that the markets are also selling off more, right, in terms of the futures market, and if this holds into tomorrow, Google's going to come down more most likely. Probably mid-2500s, maybe even low 2500s if it gets ugly, right? And I'm going to be buying every single $100 it goes down. That's the plan right now, at least, right? If it goes down to 2,500, I'll buy more. If it gaps down to the next, if it breaks 2,500, look, the next gap down is about 2,375 to about 2,400. I'll buy more at that point. And if we pull back on the 3-year chart and zoom in a bit, actually, let's go to the 1-year chart. If it breaks under 2,375, the next one is 2,200. So I actually hope this happens, guys, because overall we do see a head and shoulders on Google on this yearly chart. If that right shoulder completes, it could get anywhere between 22, 2,400 on the higher end. That's where it could be going. And again, that's a recipe for success, in my opinion, heading into the split. And I loved Google before their earnings and the split. Now that it's coming down, they reported great earnings, the split's coming. I love it even more, guys. I'll be honest. I want to buy even more Google here, and I've been saying that a lot over these past couple of weeks. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. That's what's going on right now. Russia, Ukraine, volatility, oil's moving up. Doesn't look like the sell-off overall is done quite yet. And we have the metals moving up. I didn't even mention that. Now that I'm looking at it, gold's up above 1914 an ounce. That's great for gold. We have gold up 0.8%, silver's up 0.6%. And the fact that we're trading at multi-month highs right now for gold, guys, the 4-hour chart looks great. The yearly chart looks great. If we break above 1920, which is coming up, we're literally right there now. And 1920 was resistance back in May, about 8 months ago, right? However long ago that was. If we break that point, watch out. Gold's going to be ripping. I love it, guys. I'm loving it. 2,000 an ounce, I really think is right around the corner. So, yeah, that's it. If you all enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts. And if you want to keep up with all my real-time buys, sells, call-outs, you want morning update videos every single morning, and Discord access and more access to me throughout the day, a bunch of that is on Patreon. All of that's on Patreon, and there's more. That's linked down below, or you guys can go to StockSurfest.com/Patreon, and make sure to get your free money, guys. 5 stocks from Moo, linked down below. All you have to do is deposit at least $100, and you could get up to 5 stocks, each of which could be valued up to $3,500. Free money, linked down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video, which I made one earlier talking about all the stocks reporting earnings this week. Go watch that video. I'll see you there. Peace out.